Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? I sure hope you're having an amazing day. It's a beautiful day here in Tennessee, where I am. And of course, Kwame is in Jamaica. I think he's in Jamaica still. Let's see. Hope he's still in Jamaica, but if not, he'll update us when he gets here. So, welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I am just so excited about today. We are going to have an amazing chat. I know many of you are on your Exodus journey. By the way, hi, I'm Synolve. And if you did not know, welcome to my little space in the world where we talk about so many amazing things, including people in their Exodus journey. There's so many of us who are exiting and on this Exodus journey, moving and expatting and repatting. And so I talk a lot about that. I talk about living a life of luxury and ease, and what greater luxury and ease could you live than being in the Bahamas. I'm sorry, being in the Caribbean island. I don't know why I said Bahamas, but anywhere warm, but especially being in Jamaica, because that's going to be what we're going to be talking about today. And I have an amazing guest with me this morning. So, talking to Kwame McPherson, and he is an author. I'm going to let him tell you more about himself, but he is an author. He is an entrepreneur. He is a best-selling author, and he is an MBA. Of course, y'all know I love people who have an MBA. My hubby has an MBA, so that's one of my favorite degrees. I think people who have MBAs and who are in business are just phenomenal people because they help the world go round. One of interesting things when I was researching Kwame was his love for helping everyday people just like you write your story and share your story. And so Kwame is going to be sharing that. And we're going to pose the question, should you be writing your Exodus story? If we don't write our stories, if we don't write our Exodus stories, if we're not sharing our Exodus moments with the world as a legacy for our children, as a legacy for the world, then how, when people look back and they call us the ancestors, right? And they talk about in 2021, how people in 2020 and 2019, how people were moving, leaving the West and going back to the Caribbean, going to Africa, moving wherever they wanted to move, and leaving their destinations. When they begin to talk about it, if we haven't written our own stories, then someone else will surely tell our story for us. So it's important that we write our stories. And I really, this is a topic that's just near and dear to my heart. Of course, you know, I have a bachelor's degree in English and a master's degree in communication. So communicating is extremely important. And so I want to get Kwame's take on that. And so I'm just going to bring him on in and welcome him to the stream. So everyone, welcome to this live and welcome to the stream. And so we're just going to bring him on in and start this discussion. Okay. All right. So here we are. Good morning, Milton. How are you? It's so good to see you. That's hubby. So good to see you. Glad you are here. And everyone else is trickling on in. I know it's early morning for y'all, and that's okay. But the replay will be here. So, and I know how y'all are. So welcome to the replay, all of you as well, who are going to be watching a little later on. All right, here we go. Welcome. Here we go. Welcome. Getting a little feedback.
Hey. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Can you hear me?
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm great. As you can see, I'm in the sunshine, so I'm great.
Oh, good. Well, I'm getting a little feedback on your end. Are you? I'm turning the volume down.
Are you?
You turn the volume. I can hear myself.
Okay, hold on. I wanted to because
I can hear myself.
Oh, you can hear us. Hold on. Maybe because I got my Bluetooth. Hold on. Turn up my Bluetooth. Come on. All right. How's that? Now better?
That's better. That's awesome.
That better?
Yay. That's better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can feedback through my Bluetooth.
Oh, there's a delay now. It's still there, but
So,
it's just a delay.
there's a delay?
It's just a delay.
Uh-oh.
I like hearing myself, but
There's
not
a delay?
twice. I like hearing myself, but not twice.
Shouldn't be a delay because everything's fine at this end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try it again. It started. Once you came in. Maybe I'll remove you out.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, guys. You gotta love technology. We've been testing this, hubby and I. So you gotta love technology. So we're not having feedback now. So let's go ahead and bring Kwame back in, and let's see if we can get that feedback out. Let's see. Hopefully this time it'll be gone. No, it's still there. Well,
how's that? That better?
Yeah, I think it's. Let's see. Oh, it's still there.
Yeah. All right, let me try and get closer to the modem. Hold on, to the router.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, it's still there. We'll get through it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just feedback that's coming back.
Too dark. Yeah.
Almost as if you still have your speaker up.
Right, can you see me? There you go.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, I think it's gone. No.
It's gone?
No. It's still there. No.
Good.
Do you have
Still
another device or
I do. I got my laptop because I'm on my phone at the moment. Let me come out to this and jump on my laptop. Let's see if that works. Yeah.
And you probably could have stayed outside. The window that's open. That's probably what it is. So we're gonna get this together, guys. But in the meantime, as I was saying, we are so on my channel. So we talk a lot about the Exodus journey. We celebrate people who are exiting and who are moving abroad, taking that leap, right? And so I help people by sharing great information about your Exodus journey, about ways to do that, about living a life of ease, of course, with a better life of ease than living in Jamaica. There is no more, it's the capital of casual. So, especially in the grill. So there is no better place to go than beautiful, beautiful Jamaica to be able to get away and get out of this American system and to be able to live a life of your dreams and to fulfill your own destiny in your own life. Hello, Global Green Book. So awesome to see you. Glad you are here, sweetie. And Milton is here doing good. Technology is amazing. Yes, it's absolutely amazing. And so Kwame's going to come back in and we'll get started. But I think it's important to write your Exodus story. We're going to hear more all about Kwame, his travels, and his life in Jamaica, his life in the UK, his journey to being an author. A lot of you, like me, are looking for ways that we can enhance our income, right? And so one of the things that Kwame believes very strongly, as I do, is that your book is your brand, right? And so your story is your brand. And so writing your story, um, writing your story and branding yourself into a business is very important. And so it's important that we do that. It's important that we are really paying attention to our story, because a lot of times it's our own story that we don't pay attention to, but yet it's our own story that is the most important and the most successful. That's how we connect with others, communicating with others, and that's how we are able to connect with the world. So Kwame is back, and welcome, sir. welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, that better.
That's better. That's better.
All right.
So, Kwame, welcome,
Awesome.
and please tell us about. I've talked about you and your
Yeah.
story. You have a phenomenal story to share about your journey from Jamaica to the UK and back to the Jamaica. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. If you're frozen, you here? Technology is awesome. That's what Milton said. Much better. Yeah, the sound is much better. No more feedback. But I think he may have to go out and come back in. It's, it will be today. It will be today that we're experiencing all these fun issues. But it's important because Kwame has an amazing story. So you guys stay tuned as we work through all of this. Just stay tuned because he's going to come back in. But just stay tuned because let's see if he'll come back in. Are you high? Are you there? I know you're muted now. He's frozen. Yep, he is. Let's see. All right. Well, so writing your story is so important. And I talk about this a lot. Melanie and I talk about this a lot about writing your story. It's important to do that because no one knows your story like you do. And so one of the things that Kwame does is to help people share their story. See that? Let's see.
Good. I'm good now because technology.
Ah, you're frozen.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now.
Good. Okay. Good. Good. All right. Okay. So the question you asked was in terms of the journey, right?
Yes.
Alrighty. So yeah, my journey began obviously years ago. I was born in the UK, but my father to myself and my brother to Jamaica at a very young age, where we grew up. So I'm more or less like a repat, but in a sense, I mean, I'm always in Jamaica. I've always been here. I always go back and forth. Um, yeah. So I ended up heading back to the UK to finish off college and university and that kind of stuff and work, which I did, and then moved to North America where I lived for a little while. Moved back to the UK and then back from the UK to here, back home. But I didn't think I would never come back home. I always thought I would come back home as here is where my heart is. And so yeah, so it took a number of years, but I enjoyed the journey because I was able to do a lot of traveling, which I still will be doing. But Jamaica's home, So that's the short of it in this entirety.
Now, so how often do you travel? Are you in Jamaica like 6 months out of the year, or are you just the jet setter back and forth constantly?
Well, when I was based in the UK, I traveled quite a bit. You know what I mean, I traveled across Europe, traveled to North America. Now that I'm back in Jamaica, I'll see how that transpires, because you know how often I'll be able to travel. But I love traveling. I love going different places. So we'll see. We'll see where that will take me. But I'm back home to travel from, rather than being somewhere else to travel home.
Now, little birdie told me and showed some really amazing pictures and video of you all at Treehouse and Grill. So, you know, I'm just a little jealous. So if you feel any kind of animosity, that would be why. You are also you're part of a very amazing group. And you, Mademoiselle, which I'll have Mademoiselle on Sunday. So tell us about, in addition to your writing, tell us about the group that you are part of as well.
Yeah.
Oh, the sound. Can you guys hear? If you can hear, give me a thumbs up. If you can hear Kwame, give me a thumbs up.
Okay. So, well, as you said, I'm a writer. I help other people write, tell their stories. And I love stories. And I think my life purpose is to enable us to create a narrative. A narrative which hear me? So
you're blinking, kind of going
I
in and out.
believe that we should create stories. And the majority of the time, for me, stories have to be positive, uplifting, empowering, enlightening, all that good stuff, right? So when the group, I'm going in and out. Oh man, no, there's nothing at my end. I'm looking good.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So the group is made up of expats and repats. They're the team members. And basically, it's a phenomenal group called Black People. He had a vision of creating a network of people who had a dream or goal of heading back to Jamaica to live, whether they were expats or repats. Now, expats means expatriates, which means somebody who does not have a link to wherever they're going. So, for example, like a lot of people from America have moved back to Jamaica, but they have no heritage. They have no history, they have no lineage, they have no family, right? So that's an expat. And a repat is a repatriate. So that's somebody who has heritage, who has lineage, who has family or connections in regards to their family history. So that's what those terms mean. And it's a group of both diasporans, because that's who we are, African diasporans, heading back to Jamaica in that regard. And it's a phenomenal group in regards to how we have been able to create a movement or momentum of people with the same goal and same vision of making Jamaica their home. And there's a lot more to come with it in terms of the direction that we're taking the group. But it's a wonderful network of people, and we had a great time in the grill. There will be more.
Absolutely. And so I've got linked below, guys, the group. I also have Kwame's books. Yes, a bit of delay. So yes, a bit of delay. But I've got linked below Kwame's books, and I also have linked below his website and ways that you can connect with him and get in contact with him, and also the Facebook group as well. Black Repats and Expats in Jamaica, that's also linked. And one of the things for me, and I kind of went through a transition and came off of social media for a moment, was I had been, like a lot of you all, I had been exclusively and solely focused on repatting to Africa. And, you have things that go on in your own personal life. And so in my personal life, stuff happens. And my husband's his parents are elderly. Both of my parents are now deceased, and so and our children are still here. And so I began to look at Jamaica as an option, and I'm it's because it's quick to get back to the U.S. if I need to, if hubby and I need to come back, and it's also a place that you could easily get to with travel, and I could kind of make that thinking, our home base as we're still have this opportunity to travel across Africa. And one of the things as we are looking at all of the people who are moving abroad, and I talked about that early on, is telling our stories. And so I have this perfect person here today.
Yeah.
If you have, you are in this journey, all of you who are on this chat who are going to be listening to me, listening to this, this replay later on today, Kwame is the perfect person to help you write this story. And it's important for us to write this story because for example, we have the slave narratives from the U.S. of people who told what it was like in the U.S. who went through slavery, people who told their own story. Because if not, you will have colonizers or other people saying, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." The people, Africans who were enslaved, they liked it, and so it's the same thing now with this, with this exodus. We should be telling why we're leaving the West, and we should be telling these opportunities, what we're finding as opportunities, so that other people have the opportunity to follow and to join us. And so, Kwame, you have done workshops, you do one-on-one coaching. So please share, because there's some people, amazing people, writers who are listening now who would definitely need to connect with you so they can write their story.
Yeah, well, one of the things, aside, writing is my business. And one of the things I am creating is to facilitate workshops, inviting people down to go to various parts of Jamaica where they can have retreats. So we can have retreats. So that's in the making. I noticed a question here from Milton Craft, and he's asking about what are some of the challenges expats face moving to Jamaica. And that's a great question. One of the main thing is mindset. Whether it's you coming to Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, Trinidad, Guyana, or to the motherland. It's about mindset, and it's understanding that you're coming from an environment which is more advanced, more efficient in terms of systems, more not as stressful, but not as frustrating in terms of getting things done. You can go somewhere and you're going to get something done immediately. One of the first things I always say to anyone is that you have an open mind. Take every experience that you're going to have. Experience is whether frustrating. It was you would want to hit your head against a brick wall. You don't want to cuss. You want to go on bad, but that is the environment that you're in. So you have to accept things for what they are, and not try to think what they should. We know there can be something because from where we're coming from, but the main thing is having an open mind and take every experience as just that, an experience. Like I said, it'll be frustrating at times, but the upside is that you're more at peace. In my belief, you're freer in terms of freedom. You have the ability to go somewhere. You can leave from a city, go to the country, and it's complete and utter serenity. You can get in contact and be, and that's the difference for me. So that's what I would say in terms of an expat moving here. That's the very first thing. The other thing, like Synolve said, is that we do have a network of people here already. Myself, Mocha, Aisha, Tanzia, we show and help people how they can integrate and assimilate in regards to making that move and helping them through that process. Because it can be a complex process, especially getting all the paperwork done and all that kind of stuff. But there are people here on the ground who can actually enable that. So that's what I would say in regards to making that move. But the main thing is, and take the step. If you feel within your spirit that where you're at is not for you, then just come out to the comfort zone, make the step. That's all it is, and you'll be surprised at what happens when you do come out of that zone or come out of that and challenge yourself. So that's what I would say. Yeah, so yeah, that's what one.
Great
I don't see
advice.
from Justin Martin. Yeah, Justin,
Yes,
if you
I'm thinking
want to
about
reach out to me, I can actually, yeah, I can help with that because that's what I do. If you Google my name, it's see all stuff that I do. But yeah, that's what I do. I'm a book mentor and I help people write their own books. But
and
yeah, so the group itself,
link
like I said, is a phenomenal group. It enables people. Okay, wonderful, and it helps people to assimilate and to integrate, and like I said, hold their hand in that time whilst they're trying to find themselves or their feet in a new country like Jamaica. Because Jamaica can be challenging. Like I said, it's a developing country. It's not developed, and there are challenges into how one can deal with all of that. You know?
Very good. Now, Milton says, thank you. Tell us, since Jocelyn brought this up, which is just hey, Jocelyn, I'm so glad you are here. And thank you for supporting me. I appreciate that. One of the things when people are thinking about organizing, writing their story, I noticed that you were writing parts of your story in one of your books. Maybe it's this latest one, and you were saying that you had written a lot of it and then lost pieces of it. It was on a hard drive, and then maybe you lost some of the story, but then when you began to write, it just kind of, it came back to you. How do you tell people to even begin to start to sort of organize? I know you do this in one-on-one coaching, but if you could just get people into thinking. I journal, right? So I kind of keep notes
That's
and
good.
kind of, right? So, but what's one tip that you can kind of give people as they're starting to write?
What a lot of people tend to do when they're busy, what a lot of people tend to do, they get caught in the technicalities, which means they want to make sure that the grammar's correct. They want to make sure that the spelling's right. So what they tend to do, they tend to write and go back over what they've written. No, don't do that. Just write. So I always encourage anyone, if you're not a seasoned writer, try a page a day. You know what I mean? Go on your laptop or handwriting and just do a page a day. You may find that doing a page a day, it tends to get longer and longer because there's a lot more to say. So, and then once you've maybe exhausted that, because you know when you come to the end, don't worry about organization, because that's what a proofreader and an editor is for. They will then arrange the book into how it or the writing into how it makes sense, how it can be cohesive. So a lot of people tend to get lost in the mechanics of writing rather than just writing. So I encourage anyone who wants to write, just write. Don't worry about what the format will be or what it will look like, because it can be arranged by somebody who has that expertise. So that's what I say to anyone. Just write, and don't get caught up in the nitty-gritty of the writing,
Yeah, I agree, because I'm a writer, and my husband tells me this all the time. He's like, do not get caught up in perfection, because I'm also a perfectionist and an editor, and so, but I can't edit my own work. I can't even see. I can't see my mistakes. So if I I can have really simple mistakes like, apostrophe you are and your, and it's, stuff that I should not even be getting mixed up in, but I just have learned to just write, just write it all down, and then you can go back and then you can edit it, or have a professional like yourself come in and help you to organize. Don't even worry about chapters,
right?
Because because even that can throw that organization can even throw you off.
Right.
So now let's talk about your books. You tell us, some of your books. I'm very interested in your book.
Because what then tends to happen is then you waste a lot of time.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Which one? The one?
I'm very interested in your book that's about that has the glossary of patois.
Okay. All right. So. Okay. All right. So obviously I've written a number of books. The Yard Vibe is a dedicated Jamaican book, which means dialogue in it is strictly patois. You know what I mean? It means that the stories in it are in the diaspora, a bit amongst Jamaicans. So Yard Vibes was my second short story book that I did. I love to have a variety of work that's in that particular book, Yard Vibes. So I wanted to create a book that reflected Jamaica, and I did it in, like I said, there's short stories in it, which give somebody a snapshot of fictionalized stories and characters of probably every life, in a sense. You know, so for sure, one of my poetry books, my first poetry book, Our Eternal Legacy, has some poems in there that are patois based also. And again, there's a way of just having a way of writing verses and being able to relay that in a Jamaican context, you know. My other poetry book, The Two Are Fallen, had a few in there which I also, but I tend to try and write around Jamaican stories and trying to enable that through patois, through the language. Nothing ends up gone. Disappeared.
No, I put you in solo so they could just concentrate on
so that's the aspect of writing. Yeah. I was wondering where you were.
No, I let them. You're talking about yourself.
Okay, all right,
I want them to just focus on you.
So that is basically. All right. Okay. I understand. I thought it was a technical problem again, but yeah. So my last book, though, much more serious book, is around men and depression, and that was something that I wrote in regards to my own journey, in regards to experiencing that. So, and that's called My Day with Depression. But yeah, I've written quite a number of books. There's some more books to come. A lot of them will be Jamaican based. A lot of them will be fictionalized stories. There may be elements of patois in it. They made a straight English prose, but there's quite a few works in the pipeline to come.
Now, your book on A Date with Depression, I think that's extremely important because men rarely discuss their feelings and what they're going through. We hear a lot about Black women and their struggles, but often Black men keep those things, hidden, and it's up to sometimes family members or others to kind of see until the person is able to kind of come through it themselves and realize that there is a problem. If there's a man out there now who's listening and they're having some struggles with depression, what are some of the suggestions that you might give?
Well, first off, a lot of Black men, I want to talk about African Caribbean, African American men. We don't, even when we're going through what we're going through, we don't open up to the person who's closest to us. That's the first thing. That which means that one I like to be a partner. We tend to open up to other men. You know what I mean? We open up. So I would always say to someone who's going through challenges, to open up, to find someone, because there tends to be that one person within a group of men who's more grounded than the rest, and have a discussion or have a way of approaching the subject in that regard. So we don't want to appear weak in front of our partners. You know, we don't want to appear weak. You know what I mean? And that's historical. I have a theory around that. But one of the things I always say that to men is to find some other man or men that they can open up to and talk about, because we don't talk in the main. You know what I mean? So if we're able to open up to another man, more so, because we're not going to do it in front of our women, then that's what I would encourage. That's the main thing. The other thing I would encourage is writing. Writing is also a great way of getting rid of expelling the frustrations or the struggles or the trials. That also what's so important is, like my book, for example, reading books that empower and enable some and to deal with that aspect of what they're going through. You know what I mean? So that's important. And the reason why I wrote that book, it was just based on my own journey, like I said. And as a writer, I hadn't written anything about my personal journey. I've written a lot of fictional stuff, but I hadn't written anything about my personal journey. And I thought, what could I write which will engage? I just put it out there as a story. And when I done, I found out that it was something that wasn't common, because like I said, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, so I'm always expressing. But when I was starting to share what I've written, it's like, it just took on another level, and there's so much more to come with it. There's a lot more to come with it. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, it is a way of me and it's almost like it's giving me permission to speak. Because I've had quite a number of men who reached out to me, tell about what they're going through. So yeah, but that's what I would say. We don't talk about what we're going through, and we internalize it. And the thing is that when we internalize it, it manifests itself in a negative way majority of the time. You know what I mean? We get frustrated, we get angry, we lash out, we drink, we smoke, whatever it is. When a lot of negative behavior comes into play because we internalize the pain or the stress or the anxiety, and it manifests itself in a particular way.
Yeah, I always say, for example, here where we are in the U.S., the syndrome
That's
for
right,
Black
Milton.
women.
That's correct.
Right. I mean, he's absolutely correct. Milton has this group, and it's in Facebook Messenger where he talks to men about strong brothers, strong leaders, and so just talking to men, because this whole idea of the man being, and it's especially during Christmas time, the man being, the Santa Claus and bringing all of, making sure that the family has all their gifts, has all, everything. And so he's working not just two jobs, now he's got three jobs. I mean, he's doing the two jobs just to make sure the family has everything. And now during Christmas, now he's got three jobs, and he's mowing yards, and he's doing all the side stuff. And so this Superman cape that we sort of put on Black men is something that we just really have to as a society and as African people throughout the African diaspora, we have to decide if this is something that we really want to keep doing, because it's up to us to make that change, because men have to be able. I've been married 30 plus years, and so I had to learn a lot about when men shut down, even because we have a son, and when they distance themselves. And so there's a lot that goes into that. And so we just have to be very vigilant about caring for our Black men.
Totally.
I mean, you get great advice, Milton, saying always find someone who you respect, that you can talk to without fear and without judgment. Yeah, very important. Blind got his wife in their life. They're listening. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, and thank you for hitting that join button and being members of and supporters of the channel. I appreciate you.
There is. Yeah. You see, but my theory is this: in terms of
so repeat that again.
My theory is that when our ancestors were kidnapped, forcibly removed. Yeah. So my theory is that when our ancestors were forcibly removed, kidnapped, from the motherland, what had happened? Because I had the opportunity to go to the motherland. I've been to Ghana, and I intend to go back again. And I've been to the enslavement fort. So I was trying to find my own source. The one source has been an African man, an African Caribbean man, and my place broke up. Yeah. So I was saying that I did go to Ghana, and I was trying to find my place, find my way in terms of me being an African Caribbean man in this world and what that meant. So I went back to the source, basically. But what I realized is that when I was going through what I was going through, I started to understand that why we modern black men, if you want to call it that, African men, don't tend to open up, tend to shut down, because the family's kidnapped. Your wife, your partner, your girlfriend, whatever. You have children. You know, your children, your wife, your partner, all gone separate directions. You know what I mean? Or you're in shackles and you're in chains in front of them, right? You want to protect them as much as you can, but you can't. So you're chained, basically. You know, there's something inside of you raging, wanting to fight, but you can't fight. But the thing is, you can't appear vulnerable in slavery, because you have to be upstanding for your family, your girlfriend, your wife, your partner, your children. You have to make sure that you're strong in front of them. But you can't afford to be vulnerable in front of the enslaver. So you're protecting yourself and you're protecting them. And I think the source of our internalization it comes from them, because, like I said, we internalize the pain, right? And so when we internalize the pain, we can't talk about it, because you know it's coming from way back when, where we can't talk about. We couldn't turn to in shackles and chains and turn to our wife or our girlfriend and say, "Boy, babe, that hurt, you know." You know what I mean? We couldn't do that, right? Because an enslaver would see us being weak. You understand? So that's the whole. And outside physiotherapy is a story, and I said to myself, if when we can understand that, why we're carrying our DNA to this day is based on what we went through, and if we can re-examine that, then we know how to deal with it into the modern world. You know what I mean? But I don't think we do. I think and then obviously you have the societal stuff that comes up on top of that. You know what I mean? And I don't think we've had the time to reflect and to re-examine and how to deal with it. But that's my conclusion and my theory. And I think when we can re-examine it, like I said, then we know how to deal with it as men and as women, as black men and black women, African men, African women. You know, in the Caribbean, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this whole psychological trauma that we've experienced, a lot of it is just
There's a delay again.
yeah. There's like a lot of it
I'm
is
still freezing.
soaked
Frozen
into
it.
our DNA, and so we don't even know sometimes what we're feeling and why we're feeling this way. And I say often, one of the reasons that I want to get to Jamaica or somewhere in the Caribbean or back to Africa is because also we're disconnected because our people were kidnapped.
Yep.
And this is an amazing story. We're away from all of the things I talk about. Every chance I get, I talk about Jamaican black castor oil. I mean, it's simple things, right? For years, we thought our hair was this way or that way, and it's just the idea that we're coconut oil. Simple things. We're used to being around sun. We're used to having access to fruits and to vegetables. We're used to eating in such a very different way, and so now you're even now with what's going on in the world. There's so many studies about vitamin D and how that helps, and vitamin C. And so here we are in these places where there's no sun, and where there's little sun, or and so now here we are, and we're not writing these stories. Other people are telling these stories for us, and so it's important that we write our stories. We are the ones diagnosing and researching because we're extremely intelligent. So we're the ones that are diagnosing and researching why these problems are hitting us, and it's important, especially for Black men, to tell their story, for Black men to tell what's going on with them and to write their stories. Because if we don't hear from you, then we don't know.
That's right.
We don't know.
Totally.
thinking
That's
there's
right.
going to be a delay. Mhm.
Mm. I totally agree. Totally agree. I think now is the time for us to write our story. You know, we have to write narrative. You know, we have to write what. Yeah, we have to reflect on the journey that's come before and realize that where we are today is a very privileged position that we're in. And but within all of that, there's been a lot of trauma, a lot of trial, a lot of tribulation. All right, all right, and basically, yeah, and take healing from that, you know, to move forward. But I can agree with you.
Yeah, we definitely have to do, find ways to heal from that. And so, yeah, I think
Okay,
you're right. Blind guy who watched their life, we are having some freezing going on. Let's see. I'm sorry. Here we go. Milton says,
okay, Milton's
how
asking
do
that.
people treat each other in Jamaica? Are people isolated due to financial status? How does that work?
Yeah. All right. How do you? It, but it's no different. It's no different from the states. You know what I mean? It's no different in regards to how people live. You know, Jamaica is a black country, basically. It has the same. It's the same. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of same kind of liberty that one has to live. It's no different from the states in that regard. You know what I mean? It's the same how people treat each other there, and the same way how people treat each other here. But what I would say in regards to Jamaica is that it's a country of people who do love being Jamaican. They're very kind people. They can also be very vicious. You know, so they can be very helpful and they can be very very bad mind. You know what I mean? So regardless of where you are, you know. But yeah, but Jamaican are people like majority of people around the world, but we're very loving people, and we're very kind people, you know. But don't get on our wrong side,
Uh-oh. That's just
you know.
African diaspora. Yeah. Then Blind Guy's Wife, Their Life says, this is what I appreciate about YouTube. We're telling our own story. Absolutely. Now, if you want to have more of a story to tell, and you know that you have a story, Kwame does one-on-one coaching. Kwame also does workshops. So I've got all of the
Yeah,
information, including his books. Please support Kwame by purchasing his books. I've got links to his books where you can support authors because we want to support Black businesses and especially Black creators and authors and writers here on this channel. So, and I love writing, and I've authored one book so far. I got a million books in my head, but I've authored one book so far, Love the New Currency, because we this is it's important for us, right, to share our story, and it's important for us not to be isolated. Milton brought up this point about isolation. So many
yeah,
times we are in isolation because we are
yeah,
disconnected from each other for whatever reason, and Jamaica being that is focused on tourism, for example, it kind of can be like here in the West, where you have these heights of wealth and these lows of poverty, and sometimes those things can isolate you and can separate us in ways that just should not be. And so it's important
yeah.
that we continue to come together and continue to share our stories. But Kwame is definitely the person. If you have a story, and Kwame, you say that everyone has a story.
Everybody's got a story. It's just a matter of how they tell that story. That's all it is. Everybody's got a story, you know. And the funny thing is, when you tell your story, it helps somebody else. who's unable to tell the story, you know. And that's what I found. Like I said, my book has enabled me to give men permission to speak about what they're going through, you know, so, which I didn't think it would. I just wrote it. But then the next thing I know, it's one of my most successful books, and it's helping other men to tell their story.
Now, when you're writing, does it feel like you're writing, or the writing is kind of coming through you, or the story is writing you? Sometimes when I write, I'm just like almost an out of body experience.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like sometimes when I put pen to paper or finger to keyboard, it just flows, you know, it just comes. And then when I look it over, I said, "Wow, did I write that?" But it comes from somewhere, you know. It comes from somewhere, that's for sure. It comes from the ether, you know, from the universe. So I'm just a vessel.
Right, it does. It comes, and whenever I write, I always feel connected to everything. You know, it's a very odd thing. It's a feeling of being connected to the universe and all of creation itself. And so, um, it it's a beautiful experience. And yes, Milton, we all have a story. The question is, will we share it? Milton, we weren't waiting on your book, so yes, the question is, will we share it, because we need to share it for our children and for future generations.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that because if you remember, we were oral telling people. We always told stories orally. You know what I mean? That's how we told stories. And in order for our younger ones to know, especially in this time and so forth, we have to find a way to keep retelling those stories. And even if somebody has a story that they're afraid to share, I always say that's fine, because not everyone will tell a story, but there'll be somebody who will tell a story which that person is familiar with, or encouraged by, or empowered by, or enlightened by. So that's okay. It's not everyone's here to tell us to share this story, but there'll be somebody who will share a story which resonates with somebody who hasn't told their story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we have this opportunity now with the internet. We have this opportunity to really share our stories. And I watch so many people share their stories in posts on social media, and a pretty big
Yeah,
YouTuber and social media person on Instagram just got locked out of her Instagram account. Monroe Steele. She does a magazine based out of New York and Miami. It's Steele NYC or something like that. But she just got Monroe Steele, her main account. She just got locked out of her account, and I thought, this is why you write books. This is why, because people are like, oh, everything's on Kindle, and everything is digital now, and so we are using the internet in a way that is not necessarily meant to be through posts. But you could actually go through all of your posts and start writing your book. And what happens if Facebook or Instagram or somewhere else goes away? Then where's your store? So that's why.
that's right.
What do you think about that, Kwame?
No, you're correct. You're right. I think, and like I said, the written word has been around from humankind has been on the earth. And it's not going to go anywhere soon. Internet, I know internet. So yeah, and documenting stories, and documenting and telling stories and retelling stories, which you've seen. Because take for example, Shakespeare back in the 1800s, 1700s, he has been writing. Right, his stories still resonate to this day. What I mean? Some
Absolutely.
shape or form, it has been retold and retold and retold and retold. So it's the same. And if you go further back, some people may find this controversial, but the Bible itself is made up of stories. But those stories in the Bible were taken from stories that have happened. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about writing and stories, there's stories that have been retold and reshaped and regurgitated. And so writing is a way of capturing the essence of humanness, I would say. Because we can't survive without stories. And stories can't survive without writing.
Absolutely.
In today's modern world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And stories can't survive without authors. And so we're, kind of doing this, calling all authors to step up to the plate and to really begin to allow those stories to be written through you and by you. And of course, Kwame is right here to help you write your story, so you don't have to do it alone, right? You don't have to do it alone. Kwame is right here to coach you through it and to help you share your Exodus story. If you've gotten up the courage to even think about moving to another country, to leave the West and to explore the world, right? Because our early ancestors were explorers and they were here way before Columbus. And so you have this opportunity now to share, to share your story and explore the world. So if you've got that courage to do that, then you should be definitely writing and sharing your story. Absolutely. So one of the go ahead. And that's the beauty of being able to write. Does he here? Milton says. Milton says. So if someone wants to start writing, should their story be about them first? What's your advice on getting started? How do you get started? Okay. So I talked about me journaling. So how do you get how do you get started? What's the first thing that you figure out a topic that you want to write about? I'm sorry, I broke up. Sorry about that. Let's see. So here it is. Let me get back to Milton's question. Milton said, so if someone wants to start writing, then should their story be about them first? Or what's your advice on getting started? I share my advice, which is journaling. But do you pick a story first? Do you pick a subject? How do you start?
Well, that's interesting because so there's story first. It depends because if somebody has well, for me personally, like I said, I'm a writer anyway. I'm a storyteller, so I write fictional stories all the time. So my personal story didn't come until hundreds of stories later. My personal story until my depression story. So it depends on what the urge, what the passion is. If there's a passion to tell a personal story that somebody wants to share, then by all means start with a personal story. But if they just want to write, then just write, But you can even write doesn't mean it's about writing. And the other one I would say story. But if
So following your passion is important. Following your passion. Now, blind guy, his wife, and their life. They want to know: do you have any autographed copies of your book? I think that's the question.
Oh wow. I will be getting some books in to Jamaica, funny enough, where I am based. and I will, but that will probably go for another 2-3 weeks, I think. When I get them in, then I can say yeah. But if you want some order a copy, all they have to do is drop an email, and I get it done.
So just drop him an email, and his email, all of his information is in the description box below. So you're going to be able to quickly get in contact with him if you want to write your book, and quickly access him as well. Kwame, now, so you are leading this amazing group. You're helping people of all ages because you've worked with youth, young people. You've worked with people who are my age, which is just a bit over 20. You work with all kinds of people to help them share your story. And you are now working with a new group of expats and repats who are finding their journey. What's next for you? Because you have won awards, you've traveled all over the world, you've created workshops. What's next for you?
Okay. Well, like I said before, there's still more traveling to do. I've got a lot more traveling to do. I don't want to see the world. There's still books in the pipeline that I've got. I must write. I have a couple of businesses that I'm setting up in Jamaica. Well, I got one already. I'm setting up a few more.
Okay, what's the business? What's the business?
As well as working with the expat group, which we've now. Okay, the business that I'm involved in is going to be sustainable energy. So that's recyclable stuff. That's one business, but there's other business ideas that I'm working on.
Nice.
So the one that I do have at the moment is about recycling, sustainable energy, and there's a few more that I'm going to be looking at to do. I'm working with expat group. We're looking to take the group to another level in regards to how we operate, what we're doing, what we're running out. But all of be revealed in the new year.
More books and
so there's a lot more to come with the group. So there's a lot. It's so busy. I'm going to be busy, which is great because I want to be busy. I'm making money.
You can't make money. Well, let's be honest. Who doesn't love money? Which is a great segue. As we're wrapping up, we're at the top of the hour. So, and Kwame has been so gracious with his time, and we are just so grateful. One of the things, Kwame, is that in writing your story and writing your brand and branding your business, because you say I saw a post from you or an interview where you were saying don't go to Jamaica to or anywhere in the world to look for a job. You really should be creating jobs, right? And so I think that's very important. Do you think that Jamaica will have a digital nomad visa? Because I saw Barbados has a digital nomad visa. Do you think that Jamaica will have one?
I didn't get.
Am I breaking up? I was asking, do you think that?
Well, Jamaica will have I didn't. You broke up. I didn't have a digital. Did you say digital?
A digital nomad visa. You think that Barbados has one? Do you think that Jamaica will have a digital nomad visa?
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. That's one of the things we're trying to arrange as I speak actually, is a meeting with the minister, a minister of government, as a group, as a lobby group, in a sense. We can more or less, we have that leverage. And once we have that meeting, we'll see what happens. We can put it to them and hear what's going to happen next. I suspect they will, because it's about foreign exchange It's about employment. It's about moving Jamaica forward. So I think they will. It's a matter of everything in time. Everything in Jamaica takes time. So, you know what I mean? But so hopefully we can push it along. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I do hope that they will get a these. I think it will definitely make Jamaica much more viable as a place to move, especially in this new and be able to compete in this new economy. So I think it's important. And Barbados has just done that, and so I think it would just be very important to do to be able to do that. Let's see. Milton is saying, oh, here it is. Milton is saying hello to Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Institute's Place says, you cut your hair. Yes, there is some drama going on with my hair. It's a whole bunch of drama going on. I had COVID, which I've shared. Hubby and I had COVID. And so one of the things with COVID is hair loss. Wow. And so I lost a lot of hair. And I have like bald spots. Like you see stuff in there that's like no hair. Wow. So we're like squeezing stuff together. Like my hubby, we were joking. I'm able to laugh about it now, but hubby and I have been joking about his hair because my hair is really long. But I had to cut it, and I have been saying that I was going to go bald. Hubby has a nice bald head, and so Kwame has a nice bald head. So hubby has been saying I will look really cute bald. So we'll see how that goes. But I am going to have the Grill soaps. The owner of the Grill soaps is going to come at the beginning of the year, and she's going to tell me what to do for hair loss. So I can't wait for that interview. I tell you, being in the Black expat repack group has just been a blessing to me because I have just found so much information, which is why Jamaica is really special to me and to my heart because people are just so kind and just willing to share information, and I absolutely love that. So let's see. Is not your I don't know about Marley, but yeah. I definitely love Kamani Marley. You go ahead. You can't talk about Jamaica without talking about Marley. It may be only you. It may be you're not the only one. Right. Blind Guy, his wife, Milton, we're waiting on your next book. We are. We're waiting on your book. Okay, so Blind Guy, his wife, their life. That's good to hear. They're going to get your book now, and then they're going to get autographed copies later. That's why I love you guys. They're so supportive. Y'all are so amazing. I love you guys. All right, so now, last question. So for digital, for people who are moving, we're all thinking about as we're moving and sharing our exodus. We're all thinking,
what can I say about Bob Marley?
Right, Bob Marley is amazing. So for people who
Bob Marley, Jamaica, Bob Marley.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people who are moving abroad, and sharing their exodus and trying to figure out how they're going to make money, writing books, being an entrepreneur, connecting a book with your brand really does help with marketing. It helps with branding your business, and it's very important. So really connecting with Kwame to be able, as you're building your business, building your brand. This is another way. I get regular checks for my book.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate or deposits, I should say, from Amazon for my one book. So I'm excited to write more books. And so people are like Kwame, they're entrepreneurs, and they're able to relax right? You've written the book now, and then you can kind of sit back and relax and just have the book out there, and then it's a constant income generating source for you. So that is extremely important, very extremely. It can be extremely lucrative. So it's important that we expand our opportunities. We've been stuck in these jobs in the West, and so if we expand our opportunities to write books and to do creative things, then we can also expand our ways to make money, which releases us then to be able to really move and live wherever we want to in the world. Yes. All right. Well, Milton has a question. What's your favorite Jamaican food? Milton's got to talk about food because food is good. But Milton's also a chef. So what's your favorite Jamaican food, Kwame? We got Bob Marley. Now we're talking about food.
That's right. That's right. I totally agree.
So now we gotta talk. Yeah, now we gotta talk about food here.
Ackee and saltfish.
Ackee, saltfish. Ah, nice.
Ackee and saltfish.
What? Ackee and saltfish. That sounds good. We were just looking at I was just looking at a recipe. I think somebody may have posted in the group, but I was just looking at a recipe the other day. Mel makes a mean jerk
Ackee and saltfish. My favorite food. Okay. With dumpling, banana, yam. Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm drooling already. Well, so Kwame, what's your any parting remarks or anything you really want to share before you go? Because we've just been so blessed to have you today, and we're grateful. There's a bit of a delay. So I don't know if you're frozen, but Kwame, do you have any last remarks? The technology is
Right.
looks like there's a delay. Let me see. It,
Making Jamaica some a home. I would say make sure you take a number of visits. Try and try to make one longer than the rest. Try to go around the island, get a feel. Feel like the people mind should be. So even and a fallback position.
absolutely. All great advice. All great advice. Well, we are so grateful, Kwame, to have had you today on to visit with me and to share about your writing and the work that you do. It's really been a pleasure and an honor to talk with you for the first time and to meet you um, live. And so I am just so grateful. And to all of you who are watching now, and those of you who are going to be on the replay, you guys know how much I love you. Thank you so much for hanging and sticking in there with me. And so I've got some updates coming on all of the moving and storage that we're doing, because of course we're actively downsizing again, so that we can really be on our really stay on our exit journey and stay on our goals. I'm grateful again to Kwame, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Everyone, thank Kwame, and I've got linked in the description below Kwame's information and links to his book so that you can purchase the book, and so you can connect with him, and he can work with you one-on-one to help you write your Exodus story. So thank you, Kwame, and have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. So Kwame did an amazing, exceptional job, and we've had a good time. Thank you so much. You're so right. Thank you to Kwame for all the great information and the advice on sharing his stories. Go out and check out his books. He's a prolific writer. He has a book in patois that has, which is the official Jamaican language, that has a glossary at the back. He also has his latest book, A Date with Depression, and he's also writing more books as we speak. He does coaching one-on-one, and he is there. It's his life's mission to help you write your book and to share your Exodus story, because this is very important. Whatever your story is, you should be writing it. You should make sure that you're sharing it so that future generations can access that information, and so that you are telling your story, and no one else is telling your story but you, because no one knows your story better than you. Well, I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. I'm so grateful that you're joining me, that you are here and healthy and alive on this beautiful, amazing day. So I have links also below to connect with me on Patreon, and also to connect with me, you can hit the join button if you want to support. Also, I have other ways below that you can support me, and as a creator and as an author, because it's important to support each other. And of course, my book, Love the New Currency, is also linked below. All right. Well, thank you again for being here with me today. I'm going to let you guys continue your day and have an amazing day. And I'm going to keep on packing. I don't know if you can see that right over the corner. It's some stuff I was trying to stuff down because we have been clearing out our storage. And so stay tuned for that. More updates on all the things that we're doing as we're getting ready to continue our Exodus journey. So we're excited about, Milton and I are excited about where that will lead us and where that will take us. All right, guys. I am, again, Synolve, your host, and I'm signing off. Sending you much hugs, lots of love. And guys, I will see you in another video real soon, which will be Sunday, where I will be interviewing Mocha Mazel, and there are more interviews, more conversations to come. So I'm really excited. All right, guys. So set your calendars and check back, so you can set reminders. Once I put that up. But look forward to that interview coming on Sunday. And be sure to go back and check out all of the other videos. I've done videos on living a life of ease, and checking in on your expat journey, your expat story, your repat expat story, your exit journey. So let me know how that's going as well. All right, guys. I love you guys so much. I'm Synolve signing off, and I'll see you in another video.